POV Italian Cooking in association with Simply Good Food TV, where today we're going to make burst tomato sauce. As you guys know from watching my videos, I love making Italian food. But I generally stick to making my sauces on the weekend just because they take so much time to simmer on the stovetop to develop that great, rich, deep flavor. You know, your Sunday sauce, your bolognese, and other sauces, you've kind of got to let them cook for 1-2 hours on the stove to, kind of simmer out the tinniness from the can, and also just to let those flavors kind of macerate together. So as you can imagine, during the work week, when I come home, if I want an Italian dish, I avoid sauces and I'll make something else, chicken piccata, or just something that's a little quicker to make than a sauce. Well, one night I was preparing to teach a cooking class, which is the first class I've ever done. It was a fundraiser for the New Albany Food Pantry. I came across this burst tomato sauce, and this is a super quick sauce to make. It takes about 15 minutes, but it has a surprising depth of flavor, and I guarantee if you make this sauce, your house is going to smell amazing. So I'm not going to waste any more of your time. I'm starting to salivate just thinking about making this sauce again. So let's get rolling. So let's take a look at the ingredients for our burst tomato sauce. Of course, we're going to have a pound of spaghetti. We've got about somewhere between 2 and 3 cups of cherry tomatoes. I like to use a multicolor tomato just to kind of dress it up a little bit. You just use all one color or whatever. Just this is more visually appealing. About 1/3 cup of olive oil. We're going to use 2 or 3 cloves of garlic, and we're going to chop those up pretty fine. And then we're going to finish our dish with some Parmesan cheese and some chopped up basil. So I'm going to shift some things around, and we're going to get started. So we're going to go with about 3 cloves of garlic. What we're going to do, just take your knife, smash those down. Smashing them makes it easier to peel them, as well as start to release their wonderful oil. Sometimes those skins on the garlic just don't want to come off. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and just finely chop my garlic. This chop on my garlic is good enough. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of put this over here in this nice little cup. Then we'll get started on our basil. Okay, our basil is going to be, it's going to be a finisher. We're going to sprinkle this on the dish once we've got it plated. It adds a nice touch of color, as well as adding that wonderful basil flavor that pairs so well with our with any tomato, and is going to pair great with this quick sauce. So the easiest way to prep your basil, for those that really haven't worked with fresh basil very much, take your leaves and kind of go from largest to smallest. And what you're going to do is just kind of put them flat. Stack up your basil like I've got here, and then we're just going to roll it up tight, and then this makes it much easier to cut. And then we're just going to come across with our knife, going slow, cutting clear through your basil with your knife. Take your time unless you're a knife whiz. Then we're going to cut across it, and it's okay if we have some larger pieces. Again, this is just one of our finishing color agents to our dish. So that's a good enough chop on our basil. Go ahead and put this in our little cup here so that we'll have it when we need it. And I'm going to break away and set up over at the stove, and we're going to start cooking. Now I'm repositioned over by my stove, so I'm going to go ahead and get my olive oil in my pan. And I'm going to go ahead and throw my garlic in there. Now I'm not going to let that garlic go too long because it will brown and get real bitter. At the same time, I'm going to go ahead and drop my pasta, because the pasta only takes 9 minutes or so to get to al dente, and this is a really quick dish to make. So I can find, always got to find the right tool for the job here. Couldn't find it. So this will make sure that our pasta and our sauce are done right at the same time. I'm going to get this olive oil heated up with the garlic. I've got it over about medium heat. Now, one ingredient that I didn't include when we did a review of ingredients, because we need it for every dish, is salt and pepper, and it's always salt and pepper to taste. I never try to say it's this much salt, this much pepper, because everyone has a different palate. All right, there we go. And that, again, our garlic doesn't need to cook too long. So now I'm just going to go ahead and add my tomatoes. And I'm using a 12-inch pan. That's really all you need for this dish. So I'm going to let this now cook for 6 to 8 minutes. We're going to call it 9 minutes total. Set my timer for 8.5 minutes because that's been in there only about 30 seconds or so. My pasta is going to be done al dente in 9 minutes total. So this is going to get done about the same time. So one thing I am going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take my wooden spoon here and go ahead and just pop a few of these tomatoes. What this does is releases some of the tomato juice. Some of them will pop anyway just from the heat. But I want to go ahead and get a few of these popped and smashed here just so that it will add a little bit more sauce to our dish. And of course, you know, being a round object, I'm pushing a square object through a round hole, and these things are trying to run on me. So there we go. I'm just going to smash a few more here. There we go. That is good enough. Now we'll stir this every now and then, but we're going to let it go about 8 minutes. Our pasta's ready. Our tomatoes are ready. As you can see, we've got a nice sauce in there. So what I'm going to do, turn the heat off on my water, and all I'm going to do now is just take my pasta and just scoop it right over in there. I just lost some to the grate on my stove. That's okay. Seems to happen to me every time. So I just made a mess that, you know, the help will have to come clean up. And by help, I mean me. Okay, so now all I'm going to do is take that pasta and move that plate back out of the way here. We're just going to go ahead and toss this. Try to get everything mixed around in there. And then we'll let this just set for just a minute to give our pasta time to soak in that tomatoey, juicy, tasty goodness. Don't use a full pound. You can see I used a full pound of spaghetti there, and it kind of, you know, my tomatoes are sparse. But we're going to plate this up. We'll dig around and get the tomatoes that we want to make our plate look good. But let me get this plated up, and then we'll see how it turned out. So I have my beautiful pasta plated up, ready to eat. The pasta's never quite ready until you give it a little bit of parm like so. Now this is a very pretty dish. The colors contrast with each other very, very nicely. This dish, I know it already tastes good. I actually did a cooking class for the New Albany, Ohio food pantry as a fundraiser, and made this sauce. So this one I've made before. You know, generally when I record something, it's been the first time that I made it, but this is the second time I've made this one.
It's good.
And it's so good, so fresh, and so simple. I mean, this is a definite weeknight dish that you can make. It takes about 15 minutes. Absolutely incredible. The sweetness from the tomato, the finishing basil, you get a little bit of salt from the Parmesan cheese. It's just absolutely incredible. This one I highly, highly recommend. And with that, thank you so much for watching POV Italian Cooking. Follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Google+. But most importantly, click that subscribe button in YouTube and ring the bell, so that way you'll get a notification anytime I upload a new video. Thanks for watching. I'm hungry. Ciao.